And welcome to the Just in Time podcast. I'm your host here, Justin Shu, and I'm just very grateful to be here with y'all today. After a bye week from the Texas Longhorns, I felt like I had the same thing going on for me as I didn't record a video last week. But we're here. We're here with episode 17, and I'm very excited to be here with y'all. I'm finally going to break down that Texas and OU game that happened 2 weeks ago. I'm going to break down the Oregon and Washington game that happened this past Saturday. I'm going to give you a little preview of Penn State and Ohio State that's upcoming this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be a very highly anticipated matchup. And lastly, I'm going to end it off with some NBA news as I had the opportunity to go watch Victor Wembanyama in person for a preseason matchup, so I'll be sharing that with y'all as well. But before we get into the video, as always, a special shout out to the editor of this video, Mary Shu. The quality and effort of these videos are all thanks to her. And y'all can follow her on the socials if she chooses to include those in the video for y'all. But nonetheless, thank you for always editing these videos and making them look as special as they do. So now let's just go ahead and get right into the video. We're going to talk about the Texas and OU breakdown. And this game was full of emotions for me. Let's take this back 2 Saturdays ago. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Number 12 Oklahoma defeated number 3 Texas in a huge Red River rivalry showdown. Right off the bat, Oklahoma looked very good on this day. Let's talk about Dillon Gabriel. I said on the last episode of this podcast where I brought in special guests Chris Need, DeMarco Escobar, and Alan Talamontes that Dillon Gabriel, which is Oklahoma's star quarterback, he was going to have an amazing performance for Oklahoma to have a chance and win this game. Well, he delivered on that performance. Dillon Gabriel had himself a game. He went 23 for 38 through the air. He had 285 passing yards and touchdown passing wise, but it doesn't just stop there. He had 14 carries for 113 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. Texas got absolutely torched by Gabriel and his ability to run, and they made big plays for the Sooners. I'm a Texas fan, and I watched Kyler Murray, have big games against Texas. I watched Caleb Williams as a true freshman, pull up that amazing comeback where they were down like 3 scores and they won the Red River rivalry. And now I just saw Dillon Gabriel dominate his debut of the Red River rivalry. So, props to OU for this performance and for an amazing game. But, now it's time to talk about my Longhorns. Texas led the game and total team yardage, they had 527 total yards, while Oklahoma only had 486 total yards. Texas had 86 more yards passing, and Texas had 4 to 5 more minutes of possession of the football. That being said, Texas also had 2 interceptions thrown early from Quinn Ewers and a fumble that resulted into 3 turnovers compared to Oklahoma's 0. So when you're looking at the stats of this game, you're going to look at the team stats and see Texas almost favors all the categories, even the turnovers, and that's what hurt. Pros, Texas had more yards than Oklahoma. You look at the yards, and you were just looking at the yards of the game from from Oklahoma's side and Texas side, you would see Texas had more. So, you would think that, Texas won the game, without looking at the final scores. Well, you would have been wrong. The cons. Texas had 3 turnovers to Oklahoma's 0. And also Texas's lack of ability to score in the red zone. I think those 2 things hurt them the most in this game. I think Texas played good enough to win, and heck, they almost committed all those mistakes, and they still almost won the game. But I think the key for Texas winning the next game around, if it happens, is limiting your turnovers, creating turnovers, and limiting the run game from Dillon Gabriel. I think Gabriel had a huge game on the ground, and Texas needs to do a better job at stopping him next time around. They did such a great job against Jalen Monroe in week 2 when they played Alabama. However, Dillon Gabriel is a much more experienced quarterback, and he's a 5th-year quarterback who's played way more football, and it looked that way 2 Saturdays ago. I really wish we would have seen more Jatavion Sanders from the Texas Longhorns, but I think he went out with another injury during the game, so that was a huge loss again. He makes a big impact, though. And, without him, securely catching footballs from Quinn Ewers, that really hurts. Another thing was Quinn has to limit the turnovers. That turnover battle from 3-0, Oklahoma had, 0 turnovers thrown or anything like that. Quinn Ewers had 3 alone. 2 of them were interceptions. 1 was on the ground as a fumble. You just got to limit that. Turnovers are part of the game. They're going to happen. You're going to make mistakes as a quarterback. But, in a big game like that, you were just hoping, especially early on in the game, first drive on offense, Quinn forces a throw into an interception. It was just a very, very bad look. Yeah, man, I don't know. The defense needs to be able to stop the run. Just not even taking a look at the offense for a minute. Let's take a look at the defense. They did not do a great job at stopping the run. We didn't get torched by the Oklahoma's running back. We got torched by Dillon Gabriel, who ran all over us. So the linebackers and everybody's got to do a better job at stepping up next time and stopping the run, because we cannot let Dillon Gabriel run over 100+ yards on us. We're not going to win football games that way. My last knock on Texas is the clock management. Even after committing the 3 turnovers, even after Gabriel running for 100+ yards on us and he's making all those big plays, Texas still had a chance to win the game. Texas held the ball with less than 5 minutes left to go, and you would think they would run the clock and, make sure they end the game with the last chance to score, right? Oklahoma was scoring with ease all game, so, it'd be good to not let them get the ball again to end the game. Well, Sark and Quinn did not run the clock. In fact, they scored quickly and left the Sooners with about 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. Well, that was too much time because the Sooners, they scored in like 3 or 4 plays, and, in that time, they left the Longhorns with too little time to try and perform a miracle. Oklahoma picks up a huge win as they move on to 6-0, and they're ranked 6th as of right now, and they're matched up with UCF this Saturday, with Kansas looming on their schedule next week, which should be an anticipated matchup in the Big 12. So shout out to you, Oklahoma. Texas picks up their first loss of the year, and the hope and the end result is not lost yet. The goal of the Longhorns is to win the Big 12 championship and to move on to the college football playoff. That's still attainable. They hold their destiny in their own hands. They control it. That's the great thing about picking up that victory against Alabama in week 2. That victory holds a lot of weight. And, these games, Texas is a great team. And the good thing is championship games and trophies are not handed out and won in week 6. Those games are played in December. So they got a lot of time to reevaluate and hopefully take care of business because, they still got, the second half of the season to go. Some good things to point out about Texas. They got the easiest remaining schedule amongst all the other contenders for the college football playoff. So that's very good. Texas doesn't play another ranked team the rest of the regular season. So if they take care of business and they win out, they will very well be in the Big 12 championship game where they will hopefully match up against the Oklahoma Sooners for a rematch at Jerry World. That will be very, very, very surprising. Well, not surprising, but exciting to see. Hopefully that does take place. I'm betting that if they do rematch in December, I will confidently take the Longhorns again. I'm sorry. But, Texas played a very good ball game 2 Saturdays ago. They committed a lot of mistakes. And even after doing all that, they still had a chance to win the game. They need to tweak a few things. They need to play a much, much better game if they match up in December, which I'm confident they will. They'll be a better team by then. Other than that, yeah, Texas is, I think, 9th in the AP poll. And they match up with Houston this Saturday. And, the rest of the way, we still got Tech on the schedule at the end of the year. We still got Kansas State, who just beat Tech, actually. So that's pretty surprising. So, yeah, we still got some opponents on our schedule. Texas needs to take care of business. And yeah, we'll move on. Want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of the video, High Jump Party Rentals and 4K, the Barber. Shout out to High Jump Party Rentals in 4K, the Barber, high quality party bounces and party packages available, along with an up and coming barber service. You can reach out to either or at 210-799-6930. Chris and Erica will take care of y'all. Need a haircut or need a party bounce? They're your people to go. You can hit up Chris Need for a haircut or a party bounce, and they will take care of y'all with A+ hospitality. The cooler weather is approaching, and you still have fun outside with the bounces for the kiddos. And Chris, as barber, will leave you 100% satisfied. He did a great job with my haircut last week. He never lets me down, and he's never going to let you down. If you're in the San Antonio area, get at them today. I will link all their stuff in the description of the video and also have it running on the screen as it goes on. Moving on to a few more college football segments, we're going to talk about Oregon and Washington's breakdown. But before we get into that, I'm going to take a quick water break real quick. All right. Let's talk about Oregon and Washington. And what a Pac-12 matchup this was that occurred this past Saturday. Number 7 Washington defeated number 8 Oregon 36-33. Everyone looked good in this game. Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, Michael Penix Jr., Roma Duns, Dylan Johnson. Everyone had a good game. But who had the better game? Well, let's start with the winners. Let's start with Washington. What a game. Michael Penix Jr. looked like he was playing through injury this game. He showed his toughness and his resilience as he led the Huskies to a game-winning drive late in the fourth, and he showed yet again his arm talent and his ability to score quickly. As of right now, he is your Heisman favorite. If you had to pick a winner right now, it's Michael Penix Jr. He finished the game with 22 for 37, 302 passing yards, and 4 touchdowns with 1 interception. His star wide receiver, Roma Duns, he also had an amazing game. He had 8 receptions for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got a real good shot at being a first or second round wide receiver in the NFL draft this upcoming year. And, just to talk about that wide receiver class for a minute, this wide receiver class is so stacked. You're talking about 8 guys that could potentially go, that deserve to be in the first round, but they're going to fall into the second round just because of, the demand of quarterback, the demand of tackles, cornerbacks, and stuff like that. But this is a stacked wide receiver class coming up in this next year's draft. To talk about someone that also had a great game, let's talk about running back Dylan Johnson for the Washington Huskies. He had a great game. 20 carries, 100 yards on the ground with a touchdown. This was his best game he's had all year. And Washington looks scary, man. And they defeated a very, very good Oregon team. And I thought Oregon was going to win, but, Washington pulled it out. Oregon also played a very good football game. Let's not get that twisted. Notably, they went for it on 4th down a lot on Saturday. Sorry for that interruption. Oregon also played a great football game. They just came up short. Notably, they went for it on 4th down a lot on Saturday. And that was the theme for head coach Dan Lanning, who said they had to go for it. Any chance they had to go for it on 4th down, they did. And it worked out for them a lot of times, but there were just a few times where I would have personally loved a field goal attempt from the Ducks. They lost the game by 3, and even in the post-game interview that, he's going to evaluate the game tape and learn where he can, get better. And he said that he probably could have taken a field goal or 2 to get the lead or to make it a tie ball game going into overtime. But, regardless, this was just a great ball game. Offense and defense looked good. They just went against probably the scariest offense in college football and almost came out with the victory. Bo Nix finished with 33 for 44, 337 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Bucky Irving, who's had a phenomenal year so far, had himself a game with 22 carries, 127 yards, and 1 touchdown. And star wide receiver Troy Franklin continuing to make his case as the top wide receiver talent in his upcoming NFL draft with 8 receptions, 155 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown. Washington now moves up to number 5 in the AP poll, and they move on to 6-0 as they still have some tough games on their schedule looming with USC, who just lost to Notre Dame this week, Utah, Oregon State, and Washington State, ending that year with a 4-game stretch right there. So those are the last 4 games of their season. They're going to play USC, Utah, Oregon State, and Washington State. And I believe all of them are ranked, or Washington State just fell out the rankings. So Washington's got a tough schedule left remaining for them. Michael Penix has played phenomenal, and so has that entire offense and that entire team. Washington's scary. We'll see how they look as the year goes on, because this is just 6 games in. First half of the college football season is over. We still got the second half to go. Oregon, they dropped to number 9 in the AP poll as they match up with Utah, USC, and Oregon State coming up. I told y'all earlier in the video that Texas was ranked 9th in the AP poll, and I was wrong. They're ranked 8th. So currently, as the AP poll looks right now, you got Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, Ohio State number 3, Florida State at number 4, Washington at number 5, Oklahoma at number 6, Penn State at number 7, Texas at number 8, Oregon at number 9, and UNC at number 10, with Alabama just coming out short at number 11. And you got a few more players in there that make the spots. Most notably, I gotta say Missouri at number 20 is a little surprising to me. I think they look really good so far, and they match up with Georgia pretty soon, in like next week or something like that. So that's something to keep an eye on. But in the meantime, that's what the AP polls are looking like for right now. And before we get into what could make some crazy change in the AP polls, let me give a quick shout out sponsor to LoveLee Creations by Jen. LoveLee Creations by Jen creates beautiful one-of-a-kind wreaths and arrangements for all seasons. Unique designs using old lassos, antlers, antique containers, and repurposed wood and more. Owner and creator Jennifer McFall loves custom orders, and you can let her bring your vision to life, or you can let her create a beautiful, unique gift for someone special. You can follow LoveLee Creations by Jen on Facebook and Instagram to see all of her items and what's available to purchase. If you mention the Just in Time podcast, you will receive $10 off any purchase or custom order. Shipping and local delivery is available on all purchases. Please welcome friends and family into your home with an inviting wreath, or add a pretty arrangement to your dining table created by LoveLee Creations by Jen. She's also got a couple events coming up on her calendar. I'll be sure to link that in the video and put it on the screen for y'all to see as well. But moving on to our last college football segment for today, something that's going to have major implications with the AP poll, the Big Ten championship, and all things like college football playoff and stuff like that. It's our game of the week for this upcoming Saturday. Number 7 Penn State at number 3 Ohio State. We got a preview for y'all. Game of the week special this Saturday. Huge Big Ten matchup between number 7 Penn State as they travel to Columbus, Ohio to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes, who come in ranked as the 3rd best team in college football as of right now. I'm anticipating this game will be down to the wire and a 1-score game. I'm hoping both teams play to the best of their abilities. For Penn State, defensively speaking, they've got to find a way to cause turnovers for this Ohio State offense. That's finding their legs. Common McCord is coming along now, and Marvin Harrison Jr. continues to dominate. You probably aren't going to shut down the number 1 wide receiver in the 2024 NFL draft class, but, you can find success elsewhere. For Ohio State, you just got to dominate with the talent you got. It's hard to say, but there's so many 5 stars on the field for both sides. And, Ohio State has an edge talent-wise with more blue-chip prospects. And for those of y'all who don't know what a blue-chip prospect is, those are just blue chips are those who have proven themselves to be amongst the best at their position and are more sought after than other players. So these are your 5 stars, your 4 stars, guys that have already proven it year after year that, they're great high-end college football talent. And Ohio State just has more players like that on their side, with Marvin Harrison Jr., who's the number 1 ranked receiver as of right now for the upcoming draft class. Most NFL-ready receiver I've seen in a while, probably since Jamar Chase. 6'4", he's fast, great hands, great route running ability, great after contact. TreVeyon Henderson, the running back for Ohio State. He's very good. He's looked very good, but unfortunately, he's experienced a couple of injuries over the past few years, and especially as of right now. So we'll see if he's ready to go next Saturday. JT Tuimoloau, edge rusher for the Buckeyes, very, very, very good. He was number one in his class, and they just got a lot more of these guys spread out on both sides of the football. I expect this game to be back and forth and come down to the fourth to decide the winner. But like I said, this game is going to have huge implications on the Big 12 championship, or the Big 10 championship game. I'm sorry for that. And there will be a Big 10 representative in the college football playoff. So I'm sure this is going to be, I'm sure there is going to be a Big 10 representative in the playoff. But, we're going to find out Saturday if it's going to be either one of these teams. And for Penn State speaking, if they want to have a good game, it's going to come down to Drew Allard. It's going to come down to the run game. It's going to come down to, offensive line actually playing a good game. Olu Fashanu is going to have a great game. He's going to have a monster game going up against JT Tuimoloau and all those great defensive guys that Ohio State's got. So I'm anticipating it's going to be a great game. Great head coaches on both sides. So, yeah, this is going to get a lot of hype on ESPN. It's going to get a lot of hype everywhere. I'm sure this is where College Game Day is going to be. So we'll just have to tune in later in the week. All right, man. I'm going to take a quick water break before we get into some Wemby talk real quick. All righty. We're going to talk about some NBA preseason and most notably Victor Wembanyama. Moving on to some NBA for the last portion of the video. I'm really blessed as a Spurs fan. We landed the number one pick and we drafted the most hyped prospect since LeBron James in 2003. We've had some number one picks over the last few years get some hype. Zion Williamson had a lot of hype. Anthony Davis had a lot of hype. Kate Cunningham had a lot of hype. But, nobody really had it like Victor Wembanyama. The comparisons they were giving him, the ceilings they were giving him. The 7'4" French power forward has dominated his first two preseason games for the San Antonio Spurs. And I watched the first game versus the Thunder on TV where they went against Oklahoma City and Wemby posted some impressive numbers. In 19 minutes of play, he posted 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal on 8 for 13 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3-point range. And he had some notable moments where he was going against Chet Holmgren, who was the number 2 pick in last year's NBA draft. And, they're very similar as far as heights, play styles, and stuff like that. But overall, Wemby looked like the better player in my eyes. He's always looked like the better player in my eyes, even when at a young age where Wemby played for France and Chet played for FIBA and they were going at each other in the FIBA. Chet played for USA and they were going at it in the FIBA tournaments. Wemby, a year or two younger than Chet, he just looked better. And it certainly looked that way again when they played the Thunder. But, the Thunder squeaked by with the win by 1. It's preseason, so you're not going to get a lot of action from your star players. This is just to get, comfortable with the season, comfortable with, the game speed and all that. And, but, I did have the honor of going to the second preseason game in person. And what an experience that was. Let me remind y'all that preseason isn't like the regular season. The stars get less than 20 minutes, and it's just an opportunity to get some reps and get comfortable for the upcoming regular season. Well, the Spurs matched up with the Miami Heat, and the Heat didn't play any of their stars. So Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, and Jimmy Butler all didn't play this game. So none of the Heat stars played, but still, it was very impressive to see some of the things that Wembanyama was doing on the court. In 23 minutes, he had 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks on 10 for 15 shooting and 1 for 5 from 3-point range. Let me tell y'all. He had incredible 3-pointers, posters. He asked for an alley-oop from the 3-point line. He just looks so dominant, and I'm super excited for the regular season. He had me out of my seat multiple times, and this was just a preseason game, y'all. I also have to shout out the other Spurs players that have looked really good. Devin Vassell's about to have a huge year. Also, Jeremy Sohan started out the game as a point guard, so it was fun to see that tall lineup wreak some havoc for the Heat. Overall, I'm just, I'm ready for the season to start. And I'll have another episode coming out probably this week where I'll bring on some guests and we'll predict the standings for both the Western and Eastern conferences for the NBA. As y'all may know, the regular season does start next Tuesday on the 24th. I believe the 4 teams playing are the Lakers, Warriors, and then the Suns and the Nuggets, I believe. But in the meantime, that's going to be it for episode 17. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all made it to the end of the video, please like, subscribe, and share with any sports enthusiasts out there. I'm going to start posting a little bit more on TikTok and Twitter and all of my socials. It's been a bit inactive on those, I gotta say, but I'll be utilizing those platforms more and posting clips of my podcast, so y'all don't have to sit here and watch the whole long version if y'all don't want to. I'll condense the videos and post the segments so y'all can watch those segments and share those amongst the social medias, and hopefully that'll help to lead to more growth and better numbers on these videos. But in the meantime, I hope everybody has an amazing week. And before I end the video, I hope my Dallas Cowboys, I got a hoodie on. I hope my Dallas Cowboys find a way to take a win this Monday night against the Chargers. They took an ugly, ugly loss against the San Francisco 49ers last week. And kind of surprising that the 49ers lost to the Browns yesterday, who had a backup quarterback playing for them. So in the meantime, hope everybody has a great week. Hope the Cowboys take care of business. And y'all take care. Peace.